All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Breakfast with Ben slash Build 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 press briefing. Today, our economic and infrastructure secretaries will talk about the progress of our infrastructure projects here in New Clark City, as well as future plans for the development of the area. After the secretaries give their respective messages, we will have our Q&A. And then after the Q&A, shuttles will arrive to take us to a site so we can have a short activity. To open our event, may I call on Secretary Dominguez for his opening remarks.
Good morning, everybody. Uh, first of first of all, Ben sends his apologies. He had a tragedy in his family, so he had to fly out last night. First of all, I'd like to introduce my colleagues here: Secretary Pernia, Secretary Mark Villar, Secretary Art Tugade, President Vince Dizon, MTD Clark Inc. Chairman Mr. Isaac David, MTD Clark Inc. President Mr. Nicolas David. Uh, of course, our colleagues from the government. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for taking the time to come today. It might have been easier for us to produce a PowerPoint presentation about the Build, Build, Build program, but we wanted you to see the progress of the infrastructure program as it is actually unfolding on the ground. This is going to be the first of such events. We will plan to look at some constructions, achievements in the construction of roads, bridges, dams, because I think the one in Chico River is already beginning. So, we will show you as well as the Filipino public the progress of the Build, Build, Build in the field. The Clark Special Economic Zone is at the nexus of well-developed roadways. This area will soon be connected to Manila by the second stage of the PNR North Line. It will be linked to the Subic Freeport by another high-speed rail link. We are seeing here today is the birth of a new metropolis. The new Clark City will bring in several hundred enterprises and billions in new investments. The excellent logistics and prospective rail link to Subic will make this area an ideal place to build manufacturing, especially food processing and other export industries. In addition to the new Clark City, the first fully planned smart and green metropolis we are building nearby, the National Government Administrative Center. This will house initially the backup facilities for all national government agencies to ensure operational continuity in the event of a major calamity in Metro Manila. It will also host the main offices of several national government agencies. The first one, of course, here is the Department of Transportation, which Art Tugada here moved about a year ago, di ba?
Yes, sir.
About a year ago. It will also be the site of world-class sport facilities. This will be built in time for the nation's hosting of the Southeast Asian Games scheduled for November of 2019. All the developments you see around you are part of a plan to decongest Metro Manila by interconnecting this part of the country and investing in new growth centers. In the first 5 months of this year, the national government spending on infrastructure reached 281 billion pesos. This is an increase of 42% over the same period last year. These numbers are on top of the private sector construction and public sector projects financed through the PPP. So if you figure 281 billion pesos in infrastructure in the first 5 months, so every month we are spending about 50 or close to 50 what? 56 billion a month, di ba? If 30% of that is salaries, therefore our injection into the economy of additional salaries is about 17 billion pesos a month. So this is fueling additional incomes for construction workers, for people who are selling construction materials, and of course, this is creating a lot of new jobs. I think the NEDA figured we have created around 100,000 new jobs, right? In the huh? No, but actually in the first 5 months in construction alone. The Build program is a package of major infrastructure projects that will have strategic impact on our economic growth. We plan to spend between 8 and 9 trillion pesos over the medium term. The mammoth investment will have a tremendous impact on investment growth and job generation. It will stimulate the economic expansion and will help us realize a 7% or better GDP growth rate per year. It will help disperse economic activity by ensuring no island or community is left behind. It will improve our competitiveness by bringing down the cost of moving goods and people across our country. Combined with the other reforms, including those that will modernize the tax system and improve on the ease of doing business, we expect to liberate 6 million more Filipinos from poverty in the next 5 years. The poverty rate of 21.6% in 2015, from that rate, we intend to bring down the poverty incidence to only 14% by 2022. This will be the absolute measure of success of our strategy for inclusive growth. This is the goal that has been set for us by President Duterte, and this is how we are implementing it. Build will drastically alter the Philippine economic landscape. It will create over 1 million jobs per year. It will bring our logistics backbone up to par in a region that is growing very dynamically. We fully aspire to be the fastest growing economy in the fastest growing region in the world. This will not be an easy task to accomplish, but we are ready to meet the challenges, driven by the optimism of our people, the confidence of our development, and the leadership of President Duterte. Look around you. The new Filipino future is being built here today. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Now let's move on to our BBB accomplishments video to be presented by DPWH Secretary Mark Villar.
Thank you. And good morning. I think Sexani said it very well, that this Build program, which is the most ambitious in the history of our country, is on full swing. And we intend to continue these events in order that we can communicate to the Filipino people how how it is progressing. And you can see numbers-wise and even per project that everything is in full swing. Um, I'd also like to mention that in addition to the build, 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 we also have the jobs, jobs, jobs. Like they said, 30% of these projects, 30%, there's a is the labor component. So you can imagine how many. And as of May 29, we have a jobs, jobs, jobs portal, which at this point almost 15,000 jobs have been posted there and are available. These are all jobs related to infrastructure projects, and if it's in the www.build.gov.ph. So we hope you can help us disseminate this for those who are looking for jobs. It's accessible now anywhere because it's online, anywhere in the world. Our Filipinos, our fellow Filipinos, can also utilize this medium to look for jobs. So I won't speak that long because I think Secretary Sunny said it best when he said everything that needs to be said about how this this build, and jobs is progressing. The numbers supported, and now with this series of events where we will bring you to the project sites, you will see firsthand how quickly the program of our President Duterte, is progressing, not just in Metro Manila, not just in the urban centers, but throughout the whole countryside. So without further ado, we'd like to present our Build, Build, Build accomplishment video. And I'd also like to acknowledge all the, of course, all the Build, Build, Build members who are here, who, as you can see, the team effort is really there. And I think that's plays a big part in the success of the Build, Build, Build. We have our team captain, Secretary Sunny Dominguez, Secretary Art Tugade, Secretary Ernie Pernia, and of course, BCDA President Vince Dizon. With us also is Vice President Joshua Bincang of BCDA, Vice President Ari Perez, BCDA VP for Business Development, Chairman Isaac David of the MTD Clark Incorporated, Admiral Mike Rodriguez of MTD Clark Incorporated. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the stakeholders, and thank you for everyone who made this, who's been working hard to make the Build, Build, Build a success. And of course, to Secretary Ben Jokno, who unfortunately our prayers are with him and his family, who he had to leave to attend to his brother. So our deepest condolences to Ben Jokno. So thank you, and good morning to everyone.
All right, so there you have it, our Build, Build, Build accomplishment video. The golden age of infrastructure is fast becoming a reality. So I know we're all excited to ask questions about our different infrastructure projects and the developments happening in this area. So now we'll proceed to the question and answer portion of this event. So before you give your inquiries, as per usual, kindly state your name and your media organization. Thank you.
Before the first question, can I just quickly ask Secretary Pernia and Secretary Tugade to address the media for a few minutes? Secretary Pernia.
Yeah, okay. Just a little extra icing on the cake of what Secretary Dominguez and Secretary Villar have already presented. So, friends from the media, who are our colleagues in Build, 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 we are all in this together, as you know. My colleagues and our officials from the BCDA and the Clark Development Center. Good morning. Last month, you know that we inaugurated the Mactan Cebu International Airport, Terminal 2. And today, we witnessed the ongoing construction of the National Government Administrative Center here in New Clark City, 6 months after we broke ground last January. Congratulations to the Basis Conversion Development Authority, led by the very able and super efficient President and CEO Vince Dison. He has set the pace and the example for everybody to step up to. So this is going to be a difficult act to follow for the other players in this build, build, build. But we will try to compete with you, Vince. So for Vince, congratulations to Vince Dison for seeing through this momentous project. Our vision of having a centralized government center is finally in the works to becoming a reality. By 2020, we will see the National Government Administrative Center completed and fully operational. The project is a testament to the government's commitment to spread growth to the regions while easing congestion in Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao. At the same time, the National Government Administrative Center will ensure a more organized bureaucracy and faster processes, bringing government workers and the government agencies spatially closer together. Indeed, these are exciting times as we continue to pursue our most ambitious infrastructure program to date, the Build, Build, Build program. We have nearly 5,000 projects all over the country under our public investment program, 2017 to 2022. This includes the administration of 75 flagship projects, 32 of which we strive to finish by the end of 2022, of term of the President. We are proud and glad to see the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 being implemented. And I hope that we can preserve this momentum so that we together achieve our national development goals. Congratulations to BCDA, to President and CEO Vince Dison, and thanks to our friends in media and colleagues for coming today. Thank you.
Secretary Artugade would want to say a few words, but I'm asking him.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I have this sneaking suspicion why Vince is asking us to speak when the moderator was already ready for a Q&A. The sneaking suspicion is he wants me to openly and publicly congratulate him for a job here at the New Clark Green City and tell to the public as we have seen in the video earlier presented, that this project is on track. Means job well done. Uh, it can be best and it can be great if we finish it on time. But the way you presented it this morning, I think you can finish it not on time but ahead of time. Okay? So, and below budget. So I have accomplished the first suspicious reason why he asked us to speak. The second reason is, let me just clarify certain things. Number one, you have seen on the video some of the projects which we in the Department of Transportation are trying to do along the lines, mandates and missions of the Build, Build, Build. Dagdag ko lang ho kung maaari. Wala ho dun sa presentation kanina na alam nyo ba na ang natapos na namin na ayos na kumpuni at natapos na proyekto sa mga puerto all over the Philippines is 129. Maybe you will say, huh? Yes, huh? If you want the list of ports, small, medium-sized, and big ports that has been completed in a period of 2 years, renovated, completed, refurbished. My communications director, Hope, can give you a list afterwards. Number two, expect inaugurations, as pointed out earlier by Secretary Sunny Dominguez. Expect inaugurations of major projects in the next couple of months. Number one, of course, is the Panglao International Airport. Actually, we have announced that this will be commercially operational by August. That we have announced. But because of the weather, the inclement weather, and some details which we have to finalize with 3 airlines, we are moving the schedule from August to mid-October. And that will be within sight. In other words, expect Panglao to be operational before the end of this year. Number two is the inauguration of what we call the Cavite Barge Terminal in Tansa. What is this? This is a facility which we are putting for the first time in the country, in the Republic, wherewith containers you see on the street, that plies on the street, 20-footer and 40-footer, with this one terminal, we will reduce them, and henceforth they will not move sa kalsada sa highway, but mamumove ho yan sa laot. Wala pang color coding. What does it tell you? You will have the efficiency of transport as you will have the efficiency of traffic flow. Why? No-brainer. For the very simple reason that you will be removing at least 30% of the container population that plies along the highway, out from the highway, but sa laot, sa tansa. Hopefully, when this business model is proven to be successful, as we would like to think that it will be successful, add 2 and 3 more barge terminals of this nature, and perhaps in the shortest possible time, we can achieve the reality that ultimately no more containers will ply the streets and the highways of Metro Manila. Next point. I would like you to understand that we will also be inaugurating the first world-class terminal. It is now, as shown by the video, completed 90%. We are applying the finishing touches. And what is this terminal? This terminal will house the buses and the jeepneys world-class. You can determine on a predetermined setting what time a bus comes in and what time a bus goes out. In other words, the flow of buses within Metro Manila using this terminal situated in Parañaque will be programmed and will be anticipated. Such being the case, you will not only have the efficiency of terminal operation, but more importantly, you can help decongest Metro Manila. Having said this, is this the end? Of course not. There will be other terminals that are being negotiated now, will soon to be open, so that when you have a gamut of terminals along the line of technology, then you can say that indeed we are using technology and multiple and organized systems so that you address not only the flow of traffic, but the convenience of the passenger. Let me tell you a little bit about what we are doing here in Clark. Everything is done in sync and on track. What is the contribution of the Department of Transportation in relation to the ongoing development of the new Clark Green City? It is double-fold or multiple-fold. Number one is the airport. The Clark International Airport. Already, the construction of the terminal has been bidded out, and already the construction has started. Complementary to this, the O&M will soon be scheduled to be finalized. And therefore, once you complete the terminal and you have the O&M and you have the operation, certainly you have a workable airport that will add to the magnet and charm of the Clark Green City. In addition to this, complementing the aviation component is the railroad. Meron ho tayong railroad, magbuhat Tutuban, papuntang Malolos, papuntang San Fernando, Angeles, and onwards to the Clark, and onwards initially to the airport and onwards to the Clark Green City. The portion of Tutuban, Malolos, as we speak, is already starting insofar as clearing, operation, and alignment of utilities. So that expect the completion of this railway track in 2.5 years. In 1.5 years for Tutuban, Malolos, and we expect to complete the entire Gamoth in less than 4 years. In addition to this, we are now closely looking at making the Subic Airport operational once again. We are in serious conversations with the Subic authorities, where that airport that has been idle for so many years will soon be operational again. And then the rail from Clark to Subic, which is cargo. If you have the rail, you have the highway, you have the railways, and you have the airport. What is the component that we are creating in the Clark Green City? We are creating a logistics hub, an efficient transportation logistics hub, so that, again, we will now start in an economic zone the creation of a logistics hub. If it is proven to be successful, as we would like to think that it will be successful, then the experiential will be replicated in various regions, in various areas. And so all told, there are many things being done. Maybe you saw, especially for the media, maybe you heard. Let me just tell you a little bit of what has happened in the last 2 days. In the last 2 days, me together with my team has been in Southern Leyte in Maasin. I tell you, from the community airport that was Maasin, we have upgraded that to class 2 airport, meaning to say it can now accommodate a regular flight of 20 to 30 passengers flight. But the president was not happy. He said, I want it to operate a regular flight 70 to 80. But you can do that by extending the runway. So that we have committed to the president and to the public in Southern Leyte, yes, we will increase the runway from what it is now, from 1.3 to 1.5 and then 1.8. And when you achieve 1.8, then you can have the regular flight of 70 to 80 in a place called Maasin, which once upon a time was only used when there is catastrophe, when there is tragedy like Yolanda. Now, you convert that from a community airport to an airport that will be operational on a regular basis. But in Southern Leyte and Maasin, is that the end airport? Hindi ho. What took us 2 days while we were there? Because we inspected the 4 major ports in the Southern Leyte. And this include the airport of Padre Burgos, at the seaport of Padre Burgos, the seaport of Guadalupe, the seaport of Maasin, and the seaport of Limasawa. Napakaganda ng lugar. And we were committed to finish the terminal and to finish the ports in a period of 2.5 years. But the president said, 2.5 years is a bit too long. Do it in 1.5 to 2 years. I said I will complete the runway, 1.8 in 2 years. The president said, Art, I believe in your capability, and through build, finish it in 1.5 years. I point to you and I present to you this detail so that it tells you in real terms, in specific projects, how build, operate. Perhaps at some point in the past, we were reneged of our responsibility to tell you what is happening. But just because you have not seen, you have not heard, you have not publicized, it does not mean the build is going slow. 129 ports, small, medium-sized, and big ports. You know, in 2 years, really, there must really be a great job being done along the build mission of this administration. Yun lang po. Magandang umaga.
All right. Thank you, Sir Sec Art and Sec Pernia. So now we move on to our question and answer portion. Again, if you have an inquiry, kindly state your name and your media organization before giving your question. Okay. We have my DBM teammates at the side. They'll help you with the mic. So if you have a question, raise your hand na lang siguro.
Good morning, sir. Chris Munda from Philippine News Agency. To President Dizon, sir, do you have any plans to expand the NGAC since the model of this project is the Putrajaya, and Putrajaya is about like 4,000 hectare? Yes, sir. Any plans for that? And to Secretary Pernia, sir, can you give us an update on the MRT-9 unsolicited proposal submitted by the Alloy MTD Group? Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, for the details, I'll pass it on to our partners from MTD. But to your question, this is what you see now is phase 1 of the, not only of New Clark City, but also of the National Government Administrative Center. The entire area allocated for the NGAC here is close to 250 hectares, and phase 1 is only 60 hectares. So to your question, yes, this is just the beginning of the government center. No, but of course you do know that the entire area of New Clark City is 9,500 hectares. No, composed of the National Government Administrative Center, mixed-use area, industrial area, institutional area for schools, hospitals, etc. For the details, on your question, I'll pass it on to Chairman Bong David of MTD.
Thank you, President Vince. The Putrajaya, the Federal Administrative Center of Malaysia, actually, you're right, it's 5,000 hectares. And it was almost 20 years in the making. No? Now, the government has embarked in the construction of this initial phase of the Philippine National Government Administrative Center. Firstly, as President Vince mentioned, it will be 60 hectares. It should be able to accommodate 6,000 government employees. And then subsequently, there would be additional government offices. Already, there are line agencies who have been asking the BCDA if they can already move. One agency is asking for 10 hectares. The other agency is asking for to move out or to accommodate 4,000 government employees. Another agency is asking us to make available 3,000 government space for government employees and 3,000 units for government housing. No? So we are in this project. We are not only building the government offices, but we are also at the same time simultaneously building also the housing facilities for government employees.
Thank you very much. I think Secretary Pernia or Secretary.
Well,
About the-
let me just say that my understanding is that the signing between the government of the Philippines and Sumitomo and Mitsubishi will be sometime this month. But maybe there's a modification there. So I'd rather not preempt my dear friend, Honorable Art.
Ano yung tinatanong? Unsolicited proposal, ma'am?
Yes, sir. MRT 9.
FRT9. Alam nyo ho, pag unsolicited proposal, merong unsolicited proposal sa MRT9, meron din unsolicited proposal sa MRT7, meron din unsolicited proposal sa MRT6, meron din unsolicited proposal sa LRT. But you are singling out MRT9. I will tell you the answer. Like all the other unsolicited proposal status, without being overly simplistic, it is under study right now, and a resolution will be done within the allowed or the mandated time for the analysis and evaluation of an unsolicited proposal. Like any other unsolicited proposal, it behooves us to say, while it is being evaluated, perhaps it is very reasonable and prudent not to discuss the details of the unsolicited proposal in public. I hope, Madam, you will understand. Now, in relation to the various railway projects, there is a common station where there will be an interoperability with the common station. The MRT will pass, the LRT will pass, the subway will pass. This is one reason why there will be an in-depth analysis of unsolicited proposal on NRT kasi magkakatugma-tugma ho yan and there will be interoperability. So that we look at it not on the basis of one line, but at the end of the day, we look at it on interoperability, how they crisscross, how they will support each other. Okay po, ma'am. The reaction was on MRT, but MRT3, but your asked question was on MRT9. You want to talk about MRT3, ma'am? Okay.
Good morning, sirs. I'm Ben De Vera from Philippine Daily Inquirer. Secretary Togadi, you mentioned earlier you wanted to revive the Subic International Airport. It was abandoned by FedEx 10 years ago. What's the condition of the airport now, and how can we revive it? What will be the mode of bidding it out, for example?
Very good point. Nakikiusap po sa amin ng Subic ng Management Authority already to buhayin yung airport. If you give life to the airport which has been inoperable for a number of years, number one, you're correct. You have to look at the structure. Wala naman masyadong problema sa struktura pagkat napakagandang airport yan. Ang problema po, yung aviation instrument component. You know, because you will not just put an airport simply because an aircraft will land. But the consideration is you put an airport when an aircraft will land on a safety basis. So that if you consider the safety basis and the comfort of the riding public in that aircraft, you have to recognize the instrumentation, aviation instrumentation. There is now ongoing serious talks, and the way I see it, and the way Undersecretary Iski has reported to me, I think sa tamang panahon, sabi ni Aldap, sa tamang panahon, magiging operational ho yan.
Sir, ano yung
Kasi
timeline?
sayang po
Ano
naman.
yung tamang panahon na yun? Kailan kaya?
Siguro ho, hindi abutin ng first, second quarter next year. Alam nyo, may radar dati yan eh, di ba? Nawawala yung radar yata, nawala or something like that.
Sir, when you say first or second quarter, mag-ooperate na yung...
Operate. San
Sir,
Chiski?
meron ba, sir, magkano yung cost to revive this or to rehabilitate the facilities there? And estimate how much would be...
Mamaya, ayaw ko mag-estimate. Baka magalit si Secretary. Baka sumobra yung budget. O, alam mo ba?
Pero sir, this will be
ayaw
fully
ko
government,
mag-estimate.
GAA, sir, or PPP, or what mode, sir?
Wala ko naman. Instrumentation lang yung pag-uusapan doon. Basta, Iski, bubuhayin natin yun, di ba? Sabihin niya daw yung detalye sa'yo. Ha? Okay, sir?
Right, sir. Thank you.
Maraming salamat ho.
Hi, good morning, sir. Gerard de la Peña from TV5. Sir, nabanggit niyo yung MRT3. May we get updates regarding the Dalian audit report?
Una sa MRT3, nag-upload yata after several days nung Monday, no? Diba? Kahapon, nung Monday, mga 800. Pero tignan nyo yung upload, yung sumunod 5 minutes, so parang hindi masyadong nararamdaman. Pero talagang pangit yung upload. Pero bago ka nag-upload, mahabang panahon din na walang kwan. Nagkaroon yata ako ng electric parts component, kaya nagkaberya. But if you will not, sabihin ko lang muna, the present MRT3 has surpassed the longest time within which there was no offloading. And that is in 2011 or 2011. Nung etong taon na to, nasurpass na ho natin. Meron yata tayong 28 days na walang unloading. You know? So, ang ibig sabihin may improvement. Ang tanong niyo ho sa Dalian, I'm meeting with Dalian at mid-afternoon today, the officers of Dalian. We will discuss the ways and means by which we can achieve a win-win situation. Okay? Remember the realities. You have a contract where you have 48 coaches divided into 12 train sets. 12 train sets, 4 coaches, 48 coaches. Ganun ho karamihan. That's reality number 1. Reality number 2, we will upgrade the rails and the existing coaches of MRT3. And that is happening in the next couple of months when Sumitomo hopefully will be on board. When we refurbish and improve the rails, mababawasan yung bagon into perhaps 6 and 7 coaches or trains. Pag nangyari ho yan, paano ko ma-achieve yung 600,000 passengers per day? I will have headache. Number 3, you have to realize the reality that there was a bidded contract with Dalian and by this government in relation to the 48 coaches. Is the evaluation showing that the submission is complete in accordance with what was envisioned? Answer, no. Is the non-submission or non-compliance with the details substantive and prejudicial to the safety and comfort of the riding public? The answer is, at this point, which we will discuss with Dalian, until I discuss with them, abangan ang kasunod. You know, I will have to discuss also Dalian in relation to other cases, administrative things which we are doing at this time. Mamaya ho, tapos na ho yung report ng isang international company. I think it is Rhineland. Rhineland, this is an international company that did the audit of the Dalian train in relation to, among others, the details of the terms of preference when it was submitted for bid. They have completed. That report will be discussed in details now with the Dalian. I have discussed already some 2 weeks ago with some Chinese authorities the result of that audit. Sana lang ho, wag natin pangunahan kung maaari, kaibigan, yung mangyayari mamayang hapon na kung saan kakamiting ko yung Dalian. Promise, pag natapos na yung mga meeting dyan, promise sir, kakausapin ko kayo in relation to a firm and final position. I would rather not speak at this time when the position is still dependent on other factors, among which is the meeting this afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Noel Diaz po from Insight and News Radio. Sir, regarding po sa multi-billion project of the government to President Duterte, what is the safeguard there regarding po dun sa wag po sana mangyari yung corruption na what is your safeguard there regarding this, sir? Kasi po nangyari na po yan yung nakaraan dun sa tourism natin, sir.
Alam nyo ho, hindi ko ho kayo masisisi kung may duda at agam-agam kayo sa mga proyektong ginagawa natin pagkat ng mga nakaraang administrasyon at nakaraang taon, may bahid ng korupsyon ang mga proyekto. Ano yung garantiya? Unang garantiya ho, meron tayong Pangulo na no-nonsense sa corruption. Sinabi niya, huwag kayong mangurakot, huwag kayong makorap, kundi yayariin ko kayo. At sinabi ko sa aking departamento, huwag kayong mangurap, huwag kayong mangurakot pagkat yayariin ko kayo. But let's put realities to those terms. Magarantisado yung oras at tempo, pati na rin yung value ng mga kontrata. Number 2 ho, siguro narinig ko na at ipaparinig ko sa inyo ulit. Ba't tayo ho, merong mga bidding, kagaya ng ganito, live stream po yan. Noon ho, nung inumpisahan namin ni Vince, si Secmark, yung live stream, live stream lang namin yung actual bidding. Ngayon ho, hindi na ho yan. Live stream, free bid pa lang, nakadokumento yan. So, nakikita mo, bigay ng mga detalye, sabihin nyo sa dyaryo kung malakas ang loob ninyo, huwag kayong pumunta sa chismis at intriga. Sa totoo lang, bantayan nyo, tulungan nyo kami. Active ho ang social media because we have an active social media and we have a responsible media, matutulungan nyo po kami. So lahat ho ito sa Motsari, hindi lang ho kami ang maggagarantiya na walang korupsyon. Andyan ho yung Pangulo, andyan ho yung sistema, andyan ho yung proseso, at higit sa lahat, nandyan ho yung publiko, nandyan yung media, nandyan yung social media. Makiisa ho kayo, makikinig ho kami sa inyo, basta it is based and predicated on real facts, on data. Ganun po yun.
Thank you very much, Sec Art. So, any other questions about New Clark City? Maybe from our friends from ABS-CBN, GMA7? I think there's one question for Secretary Villar. Pa-assist, please. Ayan. Go, Deo.
I just like to focus on the China-funded project, sir. Sir, the two bridges funded by China sa Pasig River, what's the status of that?
We'll be starting July. So we'll be starting the civil works
So
this month, later this month.
Both, sir, both the
bridges. So I don't know. That's our first bridge across Pasig is sa Santa Monica Lot, and that's in full swing already, the construction. And nagbo-board piling na kami doon. So this July, magsisimula na yung dalawang bridges na dinonate ng China, and then we'll be finishing the other bridges we'll start all bridges across Pasig by next year.
Okay. So to Secretary Pernia, sir, you've mentioned in your past two briefings that Chinese ODAs aren't moving as fast as you expected. So what's the reason behind that? And maybe any of the other cabinet officials, when can they expect the loan agreements dun sa PNR South that's China funded?
You were in our post DBCC press conference,
Yes.
right?
And also
I already explained that. So
the one that you have, but you were comparing it to Japan, right? So
Yeah.
it's faster than Japan. So why is it slow?
no. Why is it slow? Well, Japan has just made their project processing fast and sure. They used to be slow and sure before, and they want it fast and sure now. And I think it's because of the competition, from other countries. The country would want its ODA to be done faster than the others. So that's the way it's happening now. between the different ODA sources we have.
You know, when we speak of government projects, okay, these are not our money. This is public money. And the public, through legislation, has required the government, any government in the world, to follow certain procedures. And those procedures can be tedious and can be long. But they are required by the citizens of that country because it is their money. So, we just have to live with that. That is a requirement all over the world. Our requirements in the Philippine government are certainly much more tedious than a private company. Because, it's your money. So, do you want us to spend your money just like that? I think you require documentation, audit, transparency, and all countries are like that. So, it's just the nature of the government systems. Anywhere, ganun yan.
Sir, related, Elijah from Business World. If there would be continuous delays in ODA, would this be another shift to other modes of financing, such as PPP or other modes of financing, such as
The PPP is also very long. I mean, we have done a study on how long PPP is. From project submission to start of the project is also 30 months. Again, the negotiating time that is required by our laws also take a long time. So I think people should understand that it is the requirement of the people themselves through their legislators that make these projects take a long time. Of course, on the PPP, we have experienced that the private sector guys also sue themselves. Okay, sue each other. So, like Calax, for instance. Okay, Calax took 60 months because the private sector proponents decided to go into a lawsuit. So, I mean, this is the procedure for a democracy. So I hope that people will understand. I'm not making any excuses. We're just trying to go as fast as we can. And this is the result. This is a quick project. It's going well. If you will pass through the airport here, the project is also going well. In Bulacan, the road widening of about the Plaridel bypass road is already finished. Okay, and this was one of the early projects that we approved. No, it's not PPP. We took it out of before it was PPP. We took it out of PPP and it's finished. It was finished in less than 18 months. Diba? So our method of using government financing is working. It's faster. So again, it's not as fast as many would wish. I mean, we have to go to the bidding, we have to go through, audits and all of that.
But in the terms of delays in ODA, would you be able to do something to maybe speed up those processes in your part? Or
yes, we are. We meet with our Chinese counterparts. We meet with our Japanese counterparts once every 3 or 4 months. It's usually a home and away meeting. We met with our Japanese counterparts in Manila in Manila first, I think last February. And then now we met with them in Tokyo. Probably around October, we will meet them back here, either here in Clark or in Panglao, depends. But we are pushing ahead. It's moving forward quickly. With the Chinese government, we also have this home and away meetings. We had a meeting here. However, remember in February and March, the Chinese government and the Communist Party went through their reorganization. So that has delayed our meeting a bit, but it is completely understandable. They are reorganizing their government, and we are planning to meet with them by the third week of August. So, we are pushing as quickly as we can, and I think it's moving more quickly than otherwise would have happened.
Can I just quickly add to that? No, the projects that Secretary Villar, Secretary Tugade are doing, these projects that you see everywhere throughout the country, these are not like mushrooms that just grow in a field just like that. No? I mean, these require tremendous planning, design, the processes that we have to go through to get these done. They are not simple. But I know everybody is impatient. No, all of us are impatient. But I can tell you, the most impatient person who really wants to get all of these things done as fast as possible for everybody, for the people, is the President of the Republic of the Philippines, President Duterte, and the people in front of you. Now, so we understand the impatience, and this is really a cause of neglect of past governments. No, we would not be rushing and trying to build all these things if they were done. They should have been done, and Mr. Wallace is here, and he's been writing about it, I think, for so many decades, no? And he's probably one of the most impatient people in this country, and he's Australian, although naturalized Filipino already, So, we're trying to do things as fast as we can. We're trying to make up for decades of lost time. But I think what Secretary Dominguez, Secretary Tugade, and Secretary Villar are trying to say is, hey, things are moving fast. We want them to move faster, and we're going to do so. And you're going to see things move even faster as we progress in the next couple of months.
Yeah, and also, even after a project is approved by the NADA board, it gets implemented, but the implementation has several stages. We have budgeting and financing of the project, detailed engineering, right-of-way issues, and then procurement and bidding. So these things take time too. And that is why projects may be implemented, but you don't still see them on the ground. The projects become visible when they're under implementation, when they really break ground and construction starts. And you can see heavy equipment and cranes and all those things. So that is, we have also to consider that implementation is a long process as well.
I'll give you an example first. When we came into office, one of the first things I signed was the final approval from the DOF for the long-delayed connector Skyway. In the pier, right? Yeah. After about a month in office, I signed it. It had been delayed for, I think, 2 or 3 years. I understand that it's going well. It should be ready by the end of this year or early next year, right? Is that right? Yeah. The Skyway. So, again, we have done our share to speed up unfinished projects and delayed projects.
Question for Secretary Tugade. Sir, Cecil Ardizabal, CNN Philippines. Sir, I want to ask about the rehabilitation for the Surigao Airport, because since last year after the quake, Manila-Surigao flights have long been canceled. And we heard that Philippine Airlines operation of Cebu-Surigao flights will also be pulling out within the month. And a lot of businessmen are already complaining about the situation, sir. What can you...
Yes, the Surigao Airport, we are pushing for its completion. It is a little bit delayed because at certain point the fund was supposed to come from one agency, so we had to wait. The fund did not come from us. Came from NDRMC. So when the fund was available, it was downloaded, and the construction again and the rehabilitation movement was again done on a regular and fast-paced basis. We are trying to do a catch-up plan so that the improvement and the completed renovation of Surigao will be done in reasonable time. Na-delay po yan dahil yung source ng PAN, nagka-delay, Iski, pag-download sa atin, it took more than several months. Ayun po yung naging cause ng delay.
Sir, ano what is reasonable time?
Siguro ngayon, Ski, ilang buwan tayo sa Surigao? 6 to 8 months, ma'am.
16.
Kasi yung pondo na ho, na-download na po.
Yung fund, sir, saan manggagaling?
NDMRC, doon ho nang galing. Hindi ho pondo namin yon. Kasi noon, naisip na para mapadali yung pondo manggaling sa NDMRC. For one reason or another, which, we did not want to dig deep into the reason, nagkaroon ng delay. Pero nandito na ho yung pondo. Kaya nga ba sinasabi ng ating mga technical people in 6 to 8 months, ayos po yung Surigao.
Sir, so nag-start na yung rehabilitation?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat po.
Thank you. One last question.
Hello. Hi, I'm Shariza from Philippine Star. I have a question for Secretary Dominguez and Secretary Pernia. So, sirs, with the recent mention of the possible shift in project financing from ODA to other forms like GAA and PPP, sir, I think the question from the private sector now would be, so where are our new opportunities now? So, sirs, in line with this development, where can the private sector come in? Where can they
Well,
start
first of all the construction is done by the private sector. All of this is private sector construction. So there are contracts given to private contractors. Okay? Now, the opportunities will come when we bid out the O&M. So that is their opportunity as well. In fact, the O&M of the Clark Airport is being bid out, and they are already how many? There are already 5 bidders. So that's where the opportunities are. So, I'll tell you, one of the problems kasi is I looked at some PPP projects, okay? The government, although it does not guarantee the loan itself, they guarantee the revenue. Okay? They say, okay, if the revenue falls below so much, we will top it up. Right? So that is like a loan guarantee, but in another form. The banks like that because they take no risk. I think if you are in the private sector, you should take a risk to make your profit. Now, don't ask the government to take away the risk from you. So that is why also we are looking at another system of doing it. I mean, first of all, we can borrow money at lower rates than the private sector. So if it's a PPP, why charge a higher charge the users a higher rate because let's say their financing cost is higher than ours. We can afford a lower rate because our cost of money is lower than theirs. And secondly, there's a hidden guarantee all the time. So why should they make a profit if there's no risk? So that is a philosophical problem we have with the PPPs. But again, we are open to PPPs for O&M. And let me add another thing, no? While we are doing all these projects ourselves, the government is building up an asset base that is going to be very large, right? Future governments that may need money can privatize them. You understand? Because we are building up the assets. Because we can afford to do it now. Our credit is good. We have money. So we'll build our assets. Now, some future government, down the road, 20, 30 years from now, may need money. They can sell those and go into a privatization program. So, it's not, it's just the time is right for us to build up our own government assets, which is not to say that they cannot be privatized in the future.
Thank you. Last question from ABS-CBN, Warren de
Yes,
Guzman.
actually two questions. One, I'd like an update on the LRT1 Cavite Extension Project, and second for this site. Secretary Dominguez, you mentioned earlier that this will be the site of backup facilities for the national agencies. Why backup? You're not going to move everybody here as originally planned at the cost of 13 billion?
No, we will start with backup first, okay? As you know, in fact, tomorrow I'm having a meeting on disaster relief and recovery with the team in Malacanang. When they look at Manila, there are fault lines there, and Manila is by the sea. There is a big earthquake or a big tsunami, my office there is going to be wiped out. We're right there by Roas Boulevard. The fault line runs from Marikina Valley down to up to the Ortigas area. So there are government offices there as well as private offices. So as a matter of risk management, it is better to put it here, which is far away from the ocean. It's at least 150, 100 feet, meters or feet? Meters above sea level. There are apparently no fault lines in this area. So it's a risk management program. I think eventually, this area, because the government owns close to 32,000 hectares here, is a good site to move our government centers. Can you, right now, I'll tell you, right now, for me to get from my office just to the office of Secretary Villar, which is probably 2 or 3 kilometers down from my office, will take me almost better part of 40 minutes. 2 or 3 kilometers. If you put it all here, you can have a monorail that has no driver, just hop on and hop off and go and visit my colleagues. So that might be, something for the future.
So there's no resistance from existing employees who are already entrenched in your
Of course there will be resistance. Come on. He experienced it. Yeah, but are we running the government for individuals' benefit or for the benefit of everybody? So those are the things we have to think about.
Okay. And for the LRT1 extension pa?
Yung sa LRT1 extension, ito ho yung Baclaran, Bacor, Cavite. Delayed ho ng kaunti. I'm talking with the proponents now, where we are trying to do a cuts-up plan. And I tell you, they are very cooperative. And so the moment we actually do the actual construction, then the cuts-up plan will be in place. Hopefully, we can still meet it 2021. A bit delayed sa startup, but once we are able to start up, the target date is 2021. We'll still be able to do it 2021.
By the way, our Treasury Department has a remote location because we have to keep our records outside. It's not here. Huh? It's somewhere. I cannot tell you where it is, but it's not even in Luzon. So we have a backup. Yeah, you always have to have a backup. Can you imagine if we lose all our treasury records? All of you who have bought bonds are not going to get paid.
Warren, just to add to that, no, I mean, in any organization, in anywhere, there will always be tremendous resistance to change. Always. I mean, you know that very well. No? But I think the key and the vision of the government here is to really build something that's well planned, well designed, and well developed, that we won't even have to force people eventually to move here, that they will want to be here. Just to illustrate, you see that those two blue cranes behind us? That's the site of the government housing. No? So if you are a government worker, say, Yusek Loren Badoy would want to move here, she can wake up at 7:30 in the morning, walk, that's probably what, 200 meters, to this area, which is eventually going to be the commercial area, have a coffee in Starbucks here at around 7:40, finish your coffee by 7:55, and cross the road to the government office right there. That is the beauty of being able to plan a city from scratch. No? And I think that is the biggest value proposition of this project of the national government. And the schools are going to be here. The places of worship are going to be here. You know, if you're, after you end at 5, 6 o'clock, in the case of Secretary Tugada and Secretary Villar, they end at 10 p.m. because that's how hard they work. They can go from their office, come here, have a nice meal here, walk around the park by the river. Have you seen the place of the river park here? And just enjoy the evening. No, with their families. You know, that's the kind of quality of life that the president wants our people to have. But in the beginning, change is hard. Diba? It's hard. Eh? So, but, you know, we will get there. No?
Back to LRT1. You were asking about LRT1. For the information of all, this is the route that goes from Baclaran onwards to Bacoor. Per plan, we have targeted this to be completed and operational by 2021. Starting the actual construction is a bit delayed now, but we are doing a catch-up plan, as I mentioned earlier, and the local governments involved have extended their full cooperation and understanding, so that we are still optimistic that notwithstanding the delay in the construction, we will be still able to make it operational by 2021. I'm personally on top of the situation. Now, going back to the transfer of offices, I did not have the sophistication of what is to be brought up in Clark Green City. I transferred that Clark as is, where is. And I transferred, you know, in media, you know very well that I was harassed, and, you know, because of transferring, cases were even filed. Really, when you move people from their comfort zones, there will be personal selfish motivations. But in terms of service and good governance, guiding what is best for the majority, a decision was made. And you know what is happening right now? Many of them who were opposing once upon a time have established residence here in Pampanga, and they enjoy the surroundings. Ganun ho yun. The objection comes in a form of knee-jerk reaction, but once they experience the real platform upon which they are transferring, believe me, they will be your best PR for transferring Clark.
Thank you very much. That concludes our press conference this morning. As much as we would like to entertain all of your questions.
May sasabihin lang si
Sorry, sir. It's about to rain na.
Yeah.
Sige.
FYI, the DPWH will be moving to Clark also. And we're already making plans. So we're one of the agencies. We're committed, like the DOTR, we're committed to this concept. We believe in this concept, and we want to contribute to the decongestion of Metro Manila. So we will be moving out of.
That's good news, sir. Thank you. We are all moving to Clark. Okay, so again, that concludes our press conference this morning. We will move to the site, to the activity site, where we will all witness the steel column installation. But before anything else, there are just some gentle reminders, please.